grandparents. At Vanguard, you're more than just a grandparent. You're the family historians. You fill your closets with heirlooms, family photos, and letters from long ago. You're always planning the next family reunion, even at the reunion. Because for you, time well spent is time spent on them. At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner. Because the future you're building is bigger than yourself. Discover the value of ownership at Vanguard.com. Fund shareholders own the funds that own Vanguard. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor. It used to be hard to find the exact auto parts you needed. And that meant spending a lot of time at swap meets. It's a different game now when you can order exactly what you need from eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts, so you can always find the right fitment. Spend less time searching and more time building with the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special midweek edition of One Nation Radio. This midweek, we are covering Stardom World Climax, 2-night event, both at Sumo Hall. 2 great shows. Rich, let's get to it, man. Right now we're pressed for time. It is late. We started late. I had to get up the brackets to send to Rich for the Cinderella Tournament, so we can kind of give a preview on that. And gotta tell you, I don't speak a lick of Japanese. I only recognize some of these symbols from looking at the bracket for the Grand Prix last year. So I had to go back and forth, and then had to find a place to make a custom bracket, and then make it into a PDF to send to Rich so we can go through this. So we're gonna do our best to give you guys an honest review. But for the sake of time, we're going to try to keep this thing short so we can also add on the preview so we can get you guys ready for the Cinderella Tournament. It starts next weekend, and then we'll get out of here. But Rich, general thoughts on what you saw of these 2 shows?
Well, first, we gotta hit the music.
Fair enough. Okay, we're back. So, Rich, back to what I was saying. What do you think of both of these shows from what you saw?
Man, this was a really good show. It feels like Stardom so fully formed, and this is exactly what they're capable of. People working extremely hard and really just busting their ass to really peak their performances for the big shows. You hope that, I heard some people that were talking about Shuri and, had concerns about her title reign. Also, Sai Kamatani is coming in here looking to, prove herself as well. And both of the champions, they went 2 for 2, both of them with the defenses. And this, when I think of these shows, I think this was something to really certify them. Of course, you got the return of Kyrie, and just very solid and very enjoyable, or more than solid, up and down the card. I thought Hazuki was awesome. Momo was awesome throughout her match. Like that match is like a nice underrated gem, I think, of this year. But yeah, man, what about you?
I thought that the first show was great. I thought it was one of the better shows we're going to get all year. And then they had the second show, and I was like, wow, like they just followed one of the best shows of the year with what will be the silver medal for best show of the year so far. Obviously the standard for this year until further notice will be Revolution, because that was wild. Even if I'm not in love with the CM Punk match as much as everybody else, like the other stuff was great, and I still have to get to rewatching some of that stuff. But this was for me, the clear cut number 2 so far this year. New Japan hasn't been able to, they're still watered down with their shows so far, and their undercards are weak. And, like, I think the only other thing you really kind of have, in contention would probably be like the Budokan Hall from Noah on New Year's Day. But, like we'll see what happens at WrestleMania, but I doubt they'll match either one of these shows. I thought that this was a great week and really successful. Like I was tracking the attendance to an extent. Obviously I was wrong as hell with my prediction.
What was your prediction?
My prediction, like looking at like the way they see, I thought they had set up for the crowds or whatever else, and then the way like their section by section stuff was going. Like I was looking at this thing and I was like, I saw people saying like, I think they'll do 4,000. I was like, nah, man, that's way too low. Like they just did, back when people thought they were going to do 2,000 for Dream Queendom, they did 3,000 in just over 3,000. And like, I was like, I think just off the top of my head, I was like, I think they'll probably do like, they'll challenge for 3,000 both nights. And then like, you would see, I was looking at like, at their section by section for their ticket sales, and I see like sold out, nearly sold. I'm thinking like, holy shit, are they going to, are they going to sell 7,000 tickets? Not quite, like 5,700 something. But I mean, this is a company that just like did their second or their third most and like fourth most tickets ever on the same weekend. Like if you look back, from just December, like they just did 3 of their 5 best attendances ever, since December. Like that's wild. Like you see the track they're going is like, I mean, they just outdrew Osaka Joe Hall New Japan's in Osaka Joe Hall. They just outdrew them on the same day. Like that ain't nothing. That's not no small building, right? That's a bigger building than what they were in than what Stardom was in. Like, so it's they're doing some really good things.
Imagine if they didn't split the card up too and like kind of just loaded up like one big attraction laden show. Like of course, like we had Kyrie in a tag and day 1, and day 2 she got the singles match. But like you got to think, like what if they did something like how they kind of did their March show last year, where it was just like super singles match, super singles match, super singles match.
Right.
Like, I think they could even top this.
I think they obviously sold more tickets by doing both nights. If I were to guess what they would do on a single night, I mean, they would challenge for 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think they challenged for 4,000, but they sold more tickets, so they won. Whatever, like, they sold 2 times. Those floor seats they sell. That's the thing with Stardom. Like those floor seats, they sell them shits for 100,000 yen. 100,000 yen.
What's that go for? Is that just $10,000? Like.
That, I mean,
or $1,000 US.
Rough. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm thinking. If I'm saying 100,000 yen, am I thinking 10,000 yen? I think I'm adding a 0. But either way, like we're talking about like $800 to $1,000 tickets in US money. Like, and they're selling those shits out, or they sold all them shits out on Sunday. They sold most of them on Saturday. Like they make their money by getting people into the gate, and then they sell merch. Like so. Regardless of how many tickets they sell or not, like they sell crazy for good tickets, and then they sell tons of merch for people, and then they sell like the single shots and all that kind of stuff. So like, I mean, they're making tons of money. They're making tons of money. They're doing very well. My going into the show, as you mentioned, the elevation and cementing of Kamatani and Shuri as the red and white belt champions. That was what I was going to write about in my preview, my de facto preview thing that I was going to come up with. But like, I had some family stuff going on, so I wasn't able to do it. But like, I had the first, but basically I had like the first few sentences written out. I was like, after monster year success, worldwide recognition, not seen in a wrestling promotion, women's wrestling promotion in over a decade. Stardom ran its, Dream Queendom, like its first Sumo Hall show, by all women's promotion in like 7 years. It was an exclamation point for the massive gains for popularity, even with reduced and also matched with the reduced building capacities of COVID. It made them trigger their ambition, make them do status affirming venues like Budokan Hall, like Osaka-jo Hall, that hadn't done women's wrestling shows since the mid '90s. Like, they had to afford an opportunity to play in these, like, major league arenas. Stardom has this deep roster that employs this, fast-paced, hard-hitting style. And, like, because of that, like, they became, over the last year, like, the best month-to-month big show promotion in the world. Like, AEW probably could do this month-to-month. They don't. They do it going to quarters. Like, if you want to, what else we got? Like, New Japan, WWE, right? So, like, my whole point was like, once they did Dream Queendom and did Sumo Hall and did that good attendance when people, did close to 500 to 700 more than a lot of people thought, then it's like, all right, what's next? And they were like, let's 2 Sumo Halls. Like, we're the first people to do it in 7 years, 2 Sumo Halls. And it was like, all right, well, you match that ambition you got, like you have that for as far as promoting it. Like, what are you going to do with like your stars? And like, they have a top 4 and they fed their top 4 to the people that are like that are trying to get into establish to a top 6. So like, by having Julia and Mayu put over Shuri and having Utami and Tam put over Kamatani, like, that's a top 6. They got a top 6. Like, it is what it is. Like, that's where they're established. And then everything after that is like people they're featuring, like a Starlight Kid, like a Natsupoi, like a Momo, like a Micah. Like, that's the next level down. But like, that 6 is that dividing line now. And that's big because, like, Tam and Maya ain't gonna be around forever. So like that was big for them this week to do this. So I thought that, like, mission accomplished for everything they tried to get done. And obviously super successful with their gate. So, as far as the shows, let's get to it. First match of the show, the match 1 of the future title, golden double dash, Hannah versus her sister Rena. This match was way better than it had any right to be. It's a 17-year-old, it's a 15-year-old. Obviously, Hannah has been, out here, putting together in these openers. She has almost become like what Azumi was a year and a half ago, where it's like, we put you out here and you go out here, you have your really good match, or your good match in the opener. They have basically given that to Hannah, and she has like succeeded every single time she's been out there. This match, I think, was her best match of her defenses. This match was really good. Like, they were going back and forth. Rena ends up getting some slaps in. Hannon goes to whip her into a corner. Rena reverses it. Hannon tries to come off the ropes in the corner with a crossbody. Rena ends up kicking her in the gut. Hannon fights back. There's some more slaps. I just, by the end, ultimately, like, Hannon gets so desperate to try to put her away that, like, she ends up hitting her with the backdrop driver, then rolls through and hits another backdrop driver and gets her out of there. I gave this 3 1/4. I was not expecting this. There's also a moment where Rena had Hannon on the ropes by hitting a top rope double knee drop that just crushed Hannon. Really good match.
Yeah, I think there's a short list of like safe things in wrestling like that you can expect, and I feel comfortable at this point putting like the Hannon opening match on there. Is just going to be solid as fuck. I think she has immense potential, and her last like few matches, like every time like to open up a show, it's like, all right, it's not like super, like she's not going to blow you away, right? But it's just solid as fuck. And it's like, all right, I see what you're doing. And that was a great way to start the show.
Right. And like for her age, like, you know, looking at the history of 17-year-olds or the sub, you know, 18-year-olds we've seen in Stardom, like she's not a prodigy like a Starlight Kid or necessarily an Azumi, but like right below that, like, you know, that like you give this time, you give this a push, you look how tall she is already. Like she's gonna be
5'6", like you already know.
She's gonna be a fucking star. She's gonna be a star. Like she's gonna be like in 3, 4, 5 years, she'll be in there mixing up with Utami and Kamatani and whoever else, and it'll be hers. It'll be hers. The game will belong to her. Just let this shit build up.
You know, I was kind of looking like who's going to be the next person. Like, you know, of course, like our youngsters are Starlight Kid and Izumi that we've been kind of following behind. But I was like, man, who's after them? And I think Hannon's is as solid of a bet as anyone. Yeah, like all three of them sisters at this point. Because I mean, like Rena in this match, she's good as hell too, and she's 15. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just more good wrestling off the rip, and then. So it's like, okay, really good match on the start. Now, how are you going to answer that? All right, we got something for you. Saya Ida versus Mirai in a Golden Generation match. I've written down some notes. This is the only match I want to go to the notes on, I believe. Match starts with them working a Greco-Roman knuckle lock back and forth until Mirai escapes. They trade big forearms back and forth. Ida eventually switches to chops and wins. They fight back and forth for leverage for a body slam until Ida wins. Ida gets wrist control and chops Mirai down over and over until Mirai breaks free. And Mirai hits the ropes and lands a big lariat that Ida no-sells. Ida hits the ropes and nails Mirai with a big lariat. Mirai stays on her feet but sells. They trade lariats back and forth while they're on their feet, but they start bumping for these lariats, and then they start firing back up to their feet. They hit running lariats to each other 3 times in a row until they both collapse and the crowd claps. In appreciation of big hoss wrestling. Mirai gets a sleeper hold. Ida runs her back into the corner to escape. Ida goes to the top rope and hits a big shoulder block. Mirai escapes a Northern Lights suplex attempt and hits a lifting face buster. They charge at each other from opposite corners and hit each other with a lariat. Mirai comes off the ropes, with a lariat. Ida blocks it with a big club. Mirai goes, and it comes off the rope. Mirai blocks hers with a big club. Mirai goes off the rope for a lariat, but Ida beats Mirai to the punch with a big lariat that turns her inside out. Ida fires up and pulls the straps down, and I stand up out of my chair yelling, "Let's fucking go!" at 4:30 in the morning like a lunatic. Ida lifts her up for her spinning brain buster finish, but Mirai fights back down and slaps on a Kimura. Ida is on top, so she starts fighting to make the ropes with her feet, but Mirai rolls them both back towards the middle of the ring, putting Ida on the bottom and off her feet in the center of the ring, leaving Ida dead to rights with no choice but to tap out. Post-match, these two bump fists in respect for one another's awesomeness, and Ida gestures that this is just the first match before walking off, clutching her arm that's damaged. 3.5 stars. This was never open weight wrestling. I tweeted that this was a second match love letter to big fight hoss wrestling, pro wrestling. This is what Brock versus Roman should be, almost move for move on Sunday. Someone send this fucking match to Big E to lift his spirits. Stardom needs to add a new belt to showcase this hoss division we're seemingly stumbled onto. Rich, I just said this earlier while I was before I started going through the Cinderella Tournament stuff. I had sent this to JD from Red Leaf Retrocast. Mm-hmm. Saya Ida, Utami Hayashishita, Maika, Himeka, Mirai. Shuri is leaving, and we'll get to that later. She is leaving Donald Mondo, and with that, she is brought in a woman named Ami originally from Actress Girl. She's 5'7". She does number power moves. So Ami is in here too. Now, you might say, well, Rich, that's only Well, James, that's only like 6 people. Check this out. In theory, when she comes back, if she's not on that bullshit, you get Nasco Tora that could do this as a power wrestler. In theory, you could bring Jungle back and she could be in this division. In theory, you could say Takumi Iroha, come out here and go lay the smackdown like 4 from the top. In theory, you can say, hey, Risa Sarah, we just saw you go toe-to-toe with Micah and throw her around. You come in here too and you get yourself a check. And then also, my favorite one, the one that I want the most. You saw her at the end of night 2. After her match with Shuri that they eventually do, Nanai, you want to be champion again? Go out here and be the super hyper brawler, one of the best I've ever seen, and go out there and do it again. That's a solid ass division. You want your high speed division? Not me. You want your 5-star classic match from Shuri Kondo? Not me. I want big, strong, muscular women beating the shit out of each other with clubs and forearms until they collapse. This is what this was. Give me this division.
Oh my God.
Give me my women's never open weight title. Give it to me.
A compelling case indeed. Yeah, man. Mirai, awesome.
Yes.
Just 3 for 3 for me with Mirai. I saw some folks wondering whether she was better or in Tokyo Joshi Pro or Stardom. I don't know. I didn't watch Tokyo Joshi Pro, but all I know is that this woman's been awesome in every match I've seen her in. Saida, I feel like a year was stolen from her.
Yes.
With the injury, and she's a tad bit behind everybody else, but now she's like hitting the ground running, and like she just flexes at all times. So you know, I feel like when I talk about Saida from now on, you know, you gotta do this, you know, to make sure that you convey the message properly.
We lost a year of Ida, but she has somehow, even with that, still improved from where she was. Like she was already very good, and like she has somehow still gotten better while being away from wrestling in rehabbing and all that. Like she showed up at
just like Britt.
She showed up at New Blood 1, right? And she had that new gear and the hair, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I saw that she had like, you know, the straps, you know, the singlet deal, and I was like, I wonder. When she took off the straps, like, that's what I want. Steinerism. Angleism. She's fired up. I love her. I'm so glad she's back. I missed her. I didn't realize I missed her this much. Yes. Just pure oomph. Number oomph and grit.
Dome jock wrestler. Shout out to
yes.
Joe and Rich.
Yes. Oh man. So next match. It was the basically like the bit everybody on the card match. It was a gauntlet 4-way match. Donato Mondo comes out first versus Cosmic Angels. No, I'm sorry. I can't remember the order it was in, but basically, it was Cosmic Angels and Oedo Tai.
Yeah.
Then because it was, and then next thing you know, Oedo Tai won. I think it was with Saki getting the win. Then you end up getting Queen's Quest in. Azumi takes over. She just looks like a star. Clears out Oedo Tai, and then you get Don Mondo versus Queen's Quest. Ultimately, you end up getting the newest rookie, Miyu Amasaki, in there with Himeka. Himeka puts her away. Decent match. Nothing to really write home about. But, you know, for 9 minutes, whatever else, it was all right.
Yeah, it was cool. Def was smoking that pack.
Yes, that's right. That's right. She certainly was. Next match. Prominence versus DDM. Micah and Tekla versus Suzu and Risa Sera. Suzu Suzuki and Risa Sera. I thought this was a very good match. I like that they basically say, hey, y'all two are like 5'5", 5'6", and power wrestlers. We'll pair y'all together. Y'all two are like 5'1", and y'all do some flippy stuff and a really fast pace. Y'all do stuff together, and eventually, like they, you know, and at times they interacted with each other at times, and you know, built towards hot tags. Or for the most part, it was basically a single. They both were isolated with each other for most of the match. I like what Risa and Micah do together, and I really liked what Tekla and Suzu did together. And I thought like this was like the most showing of what Tekla can actually do with a high end wrestler, and I'm very excited for her future in Stardom.
This is the most impressed I've been with Tekla in Stardom. Previously, I thought she had kind of leaned more into the shtick. Mm-hmm. And this one was like, yo, here's the explosion. Here's like the athleticism. Here's like the fire and like, you know, just the ring generalship. And Risa Sera was very impressive. Yeah. And then Suzu Suzuki, I came out of the chair. I think it was her that did that. I told you.
The dolphin, avalanche dolphin buster.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever the hell that was. Right. And I was like, oh my God. Like, so I was shocked we did not get a draw with Tekla. And they finally pinned her. So, Prominence, sign me up.
Yeah, I remember you had told me when you were watching it, you were like, I don't really like their gear. I mean, their Night 2 gear is much better. That's actually what they normally wear. I actually like Risa wears a bunch of different things, but
look, you got to say what I said. They were looking Koguma-ish, you know.
I think you were like, they look too much like a team as opposed to like you're the big one with the blue hair, you're the smaller one with the red hair, and y'all got blue and red gear. Like, okay, like enough, like that that's too cookie cutter. But yeah, like anyway, yeah, man, like. They gotta come to a deal. They gotta come up with a deal. They gotta bring Prominence in. I'm sorry. Like, this was their second match in Stardom. Like, when they had, a Cork and Hall, when they had a Shuri and Risa confrontation in the middle of their match. And like, that plays on, like, when Shuri was Ice Ribbon as a freelancer, like, they have a history. So like, they was in there and they was mixing up. I was like, I want to see that. And then they teased that they were going to do a title defense against a Red Belt title defense against Risa. So it's like, yeah, like do it, bring her in, beat her, don't care. Just get them out of the, like, if they're going to actually wrestle and instead, like, let them do their deathmatch wrestling shit over there. When they want to do their real wrestling, bring them over here. Like, hook them up with that Fukigen Death deal. Like they're that, like, their top 2 and even their top 3 is that talented enough to where, like, yeah, bring them in. Like, I don't care. Bring them in.
Find a spot.
Yeah. Make room. So, yeah, I ended up giving this, I think I gave this 3.5. I may have gave this 3.25. I don't know. It's one of the two. Like,
I'd probably say 3.5.
Yeah. But yeah, like, Suzu. Like, I thought Suzu was good when I watched her win the belt and Ice Ribbon in 2011. I think it was beginning of 2011. But like, maybe I shortchanged her because I liked their champion at the time, Maya Yuki, more. But yeah, like, for 19 years old, really fucking good. I don't think she's a Zumi, but she's really fucking good. Next match after that, the Goddess of Stardom tag team titles. Hazuki and Koguma, Fukuoka Double Crazy versus Momo and Starlight Kid. Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid, Black Desire. This match was awesome.
Excellent match.
Yeah. Like, they threw the kitchen sink out. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff, but mostly what it came down to was the heels start out by just, like, overwhelming Koguma. Koguma fights back, gets a hot tag for Hazuki. Starlight Kid ends up interfering with the Momo stuff, and they end up trying to cut off Hazuki. Hazuki fires back. There's multiple. They ultimately end up showcasing Momo and Hazuki for the next night. Then they get Starlight Kid. There's a portion where Starlight Kid's in. And she ends up, and Momo and Kid just basically wipe out Hazuki at different times. Then Koguma comes back, she gets in, and then she's in there with Momo, and she's basically fighting for her life as Momo is trying to find, like, 12 different ways to murder her. Like, she tries, at one point, she tries a half and half suplex throw. That didn't kill her. She dropped Koguma right on her neck. That Koguma was like, nah, I do this. She gets up. They eventually, Hazuki kept making so many saves after Momo kept killing her that she was like, enough of this. Oedo Tai takes the ref. They wrap a chair. Momo then grabs a chair and wraps it around Hazuki's head and takes her off the table. Then Kaguma keeps fighting. She keeps surviving these near falls. There's one point where Momo has her finish. She kicks. I think it was a wheelbarrow driver, right? So it's basically like an inverted, a forward like B driver. Kicks out of that, gets her up and goes to give her that peach bomb, her super finish. She escapes out of that. Oedo Tai said, enough of this shit. They take the ref again, and then Kid ends up hitting a basically like a Van Daminator, except it's a basement drop kick instead of the Savat kick. And then they hit her with like a modified magic killer, and then Momo finally hits her with a peach bomb. After that, it was like, damn, they garganoing the kind of stuff that resiliency we're talking about out of Kaguma. But ultimately, it didn't matter. Black Desire, the new tag team champions. They're
going to be awesome.
Yes.
You swap out Azum for Starlight Kid is the same shit essentially, but now they're evil. I think Momo's gear was kind of plain. I think I like her regular gear more than this show gear that she wore. But this is an excellent match. I would probably go like 4 stars on it.
Same.
And like, I love the team of Hazuki and Kaguma as well. I thought they'd win, but play as fuck up.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it didn't matter. It was going to be a great team, continuing to have great defenses either way. But yeah, like, they're new tag champs, Momo and Kid, and they're going to be great. Next match after that, the return of
Unagi Sayaka.
Nah, not quite. I mean, she's in this match, but not necessarily the return. The return of Captain Kairi. I don't know if you saw her return press conference thing, but she literally was like, "Yo ho ho, it's Captain Kairi."
No, I did not.
I wanted to clip it, but I didn't get the time to do it. I didn't see what else to do it. But yeah, she's fully on this captain shit. They had Mayu do the in the middle of this match. At some point, I think after the match, she yelled like the Dead Poet Society shit, like, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." She said, "Oh, Kairi, my Kairi." It was like, how do y'all even know this? Y'all don't even speak a lick of English, or Maya doesn't speak a lick of English. Like, whatever. But yeah, like, it's Kairi and Mayu versus Tam and Unagi. Match starts with Unagi wanting to run it with Kairi. Tam says, "Get the hell out of here. She'll murder you." So they start with Tam and Mayu, good wrestling back and forth. Then Unagi ends up tagging in and says that she wants Kairi. There's some fooling around from Unagi until she hits a slap on Kairi. Kairi sells it as if like, "I'm going to turn around and murder you." It was basically like the same face that she gave Shayna Baszler, like leading up to the first Mae Young Classic final, where it's like, "Don't you know I will kill you in cold blood?" Unagi ain't want no smoke. She tried to tag out. Tam said, "Nah, use Rhino on the Wolf tickets. Now go pay the toll." Kairi fucked her up. She lets Mayu get in. Mayu starts fucking her up. At some point, Tam's trying to make some plays, keep it alive or whatever else. She gets thrown out. Ultimately, you get a double dive from Kairi and Mayu onto the Cosmic Angels down on the floor. Then eventually, Unagi fights back, and she tags in Tam, and Tam basically like, Mayu comes in and tries to interfere. Tam thwarts the double team, throws Mayu out of there, has Kairi on the floor. Tam finally realized, I finally get my opportunity to be in here with Tam, or with Kairi. Tam gets on the ground next to, face to face with Kairi and says, "Kairi, I've been waiting for you." And, Kairi says, "Me too." They grab each other by the hair. They start big brawling, big money brawling out there with each other.
They had to lay down and declare their love for each other first, kind of like with the eyes, and then get to it.
Man, like, I gotta say, this shit was electric. The way they beat the shit out of each other, it was awesome. Ultimately, they end up, they go back and forth, between, spinning back fist and the spin kick from Tam. They go to a double down. Mayu and Unagi get back in the ring. Mayu basically, has her way with, Unagi, with some help with Mayu with double team. They end up getting Tam, took her off the table. And then, Kairi goes up, and goes and hits the elbow. And then Mayu goes to the top and hits the moonsault. She is pinning, Unagi. Good ass match. Like 3 3/4. It wasn't, I don't know if it was, I think it told a better story than the tag team title match, but it just, the work rate wasn't on that level, but it didn't need to be. It was about Kairi as a character and set up her next program, presumably with, or her next like big singles match or whatever else, presumably with Tam, and that's gonna be fucking awesome. But yeah, it was fun to see Captain Kairi back. There was also a point early in the match when she was fucking.
The gear looked expensive.
Oh yeah. Like that was definitely gear that she had, either had designed or saved since WWE, because it was very similar to her Kabuki Warrior stuff.
I think the world wants to know, James, whose side is James Boyd on? Who you with, as Jay-Z would say.
I'm rooting for the match.
With?
I'm rooting for the match.
Who you with, as
I'm rooting for the match.
Who you want to win?
Oh, well, whoever's gonna become champion. Yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. Yeah. Like,
James Boyd would not pick a side, Joe.
No. I like. We'll get to it later, but it's like this is exactly what I wanted. This was exactly what I wanted. This is exactly what this match needed to be. This set up exactly what I wanted when I ever thought of Kairi coming back. This is awesome. Super happy. Next match after that, you end up getting the white belt match. Kamatani versus Utami. This match is very similar to every match I've seen them have since since last year. Utami's dominant to start. She's walking the dog with Kamatani, and then Kamatani has to fight from underneath and come up with great escapes, mostly in the form of Hurricane Ranas. This was the most spamming of Hurricane Ranas. This was the most spamming of Hurricane Ranas I think I've seen between these two in a contest. In a way, it almost reminded me of like her match in the Grand Prix last year, Kamatani's match in Grand Prix last year with Takumi, where it's like Hurricane Rana. And guess what's next? You guess it. Hurricane Rana is like, this match was great because like they just never have matches that are just good. Like they just a walking four. I just think I want the next evolution of their matches together. But anyway, ultimately by the end, Kamatani puts together a run, hits a Star Crusher, and then goes to the top and ends up hitting Utami with the Phoenix Splash for the win. Yeah, I give this another 4-star match. I've seen people say 4.25. It's in that range, but that's what they do. Like they do this in their sleep together at this point.
I felt like something was missing a little bit from this match. Like all the Ranas were cool. I loved the Lucha Libre. Some of the Poison Rana stuff was cool, but it looked like Utami was just on another level. Personally,
I agree.
From Saya Kamatani, it was like she's still like this incredible ring general main event style wrestler. So if you were worried about Utami after the belt and anything like that, like don't be. Like she's incredible. Insane gear too, by the way. But yeah, something a little bit missing. I think Saya needs to probably like work on her striking, I think, more. And that might be her key to unveiling another layer.
I think her forearms I don't buy her forearms when she throws them. I think the match that she was best at it when she was in the first night of Grand Prix last year against Shuri, but like she was fighting back with slaps. It wasn't forearms. So like I think there's that. There's also this part where it's like there's something missing from her game as far as being able to not as far as wrestling, just back and forth wrestling, as opposed to just being an underdog getting your ass whooped. Like she could do high speed stuff. Like when that's the point, she can do that. Or with Azumi or Starlight Kid, that's fine. She got that in the bag. If she wants to have a back and forth match with someone like Tam, they've been able to figure that out, right? But for some reason, at this point, I think she's past being like trying to work herself like she's an underdog babyface. Like, nah, like you're in like the 90th percentile in weight in the on the roster. You're just one of the 3 or 4 tallest women on the roster. You can't, I understand you do flippy shit, but you can't be out here just getting, just selling for everybody forever. Like, you gotta fight back, and like, it gotta be more back and forth than you just getting killed by Tommy. Like, Tommy can just take up time, just beating you up if she wants to, and make it entertaining, but there gotta be evolution at some point, between them. And obviously, like, the result was different than what it's ever been between these two. But it still was like the same as that Temple Up. She's going to beat your ass down and you got to fight back. And like, I kind of want to see when they come up with I guess for lack of a better word, a new match between those two. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She needs to just do like her match that she has with Micah with Utami once to see how that goes. But yeah, either way, we're talking about a 4-star match still, but whatever. Next match, the main event of night 1, Shuri versus Julia for the red belt.
Time to open up that pack.
Now, this match happened so long ago that like I can't remember mostly what happened aside from like the visuals of Shuri kicking her ass for great stretches. I remember there was a stretch early in the beginning where like, this is the main event match with Shuri, and so it's going to involve ground wrestling. And I've always said, like, I don't think Julia is as good as she likes to be. But she still does it. Like, her strength as a wrestler is in her fire and in her brawling. And like, once I got the brawling out, this match was off to the race for me. Like, this match, I really love this match. I gave it 4.5, but, I don't think it necessarily needed to be damn near 28 minutes or whatever it was, but it was still a great match. Very great match.
Yeah, I saw this one live. I got up and I was like, yo, I'm up already. Might as well, find a way. And, before I got my real link, but they, I was very proud to see Shuri whoop that ass. At the end of the day, like, it came down to, like I said, like, hey, you gotta, like, we already know Julia ain't shit, so you gotta take the fight to her before, she catch you off guard. So they were kicking out at 1.
Yep.
And shit. They were
hitting each other. There's another part I forgot about it. They, when they kicked out at 1, like, I believe that was when they were hitting each other with each other's finishes, right?
Yeah, they were kicking out each other's finishes and shit. And this was a really good match. I gave it the same rating as you, 4.5. And I had to send out the graphic or the thumbnail from our other Shuri segment. Like, Shuri is the best women's wrestler in the world. Like, and I was like, do I have to send the clip? And I was talking with, I believe it was Velkej, and the Voice of Wrestling Joshi Foreman. I was really excited for this. So another great match for Julia too. Yep. Like, she had another great match with Mayu earlier this year. So it's only going to be so long before you keep that thing from her. So if y'all ain't with it, enjoy it now because it's happening.
And like the people that I don't know, like there's this weird sect of people that don't like Tam or don't like Julie, and I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, they go out there on the big show, on the big stage, and they go get their 45. They look like stars. They do everything that needs to be done to portray themselves as stars and have great matches. And like, maybe they're not like, maybe they're not Io Shirai as technicians, but like through sheer force of will, their matches get over all the fucking time whenever they do it, with few exceptions. So I don't know what to tell y'all. I just don't. I don't. Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe everybody else is crazy when, like, they draw bigger and bigger houses year after year. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, you know, everyone else is wrong. You're the geniuses. I don't know. But yeah, that was you know, we just went through it. What was that? I think we both agreed that there was 3 4-star matches, a bunch of, you know, 3.5, high 3 stuff. Even with that, like, this was the worst show of the night of the weekend between of both shows. So let's get to night 2. Before we go through this, I want to make note that, like, both of their gears were incredible, both of them. Shuri and Julia. After the match.
So the JML said maybe they hate on Julia because of the braids.
They were hating on her before the braids. They were hating on her when she was just short blonde hair. Like, this, I'm talking about, this goes back to, like, when she came in, they were mad she left Ice Ribbon because, there is a substantial sect online of, you know, anti-Stardom people, and it's like if you don't like it, whatever, fine. Like, go watch Ice Ribbon or, like, at this point, that Purdue show over there. But whatever, like, whatever. Like, I like Ice Ribbon. Like, when Mayuki was a champion, I enjoyed her defenses. Like, I like Tsukasa Fujimoto, right? Like, I like Tsukushi. They're both, I mean, all 3 of them are gone now, but but you get my point. Like, Ice Ribbon, from what I watched 2019, it was some really good wrestling, but it was also like, but like, I wasn't on some choose one or the other. It was like, Ice Ribbon, really good. Stardom, really good. Ceiling, really good. Tokyo Joshi Pro, not so much. I like some of the wrestlers. They do some of that goofy shit that's just too good for me, but whatever. Like, I knew the wrestling that I liked out of the Joshi when I came through 2019. So, like, that's fine. Like, it so happened that, like, they were unlucky. Stardom ended up getting purchased by Bushiroad. They invested tons of funds into them. They at the right time, right place, they blew up. It is what it is.
Hey,
like,
so basically, you know, if y'all play y'all cards right, maybe one day it'll be you. You know?
Oh my god! So anyway,
we trying to get shows.
Oh man. So anyway, moving on to the end of night 1. Sorry?
It just dropped my video. Great.
Yeah, I see that. So, the end of night 1, Julia says something along the lines of, Shuri says to Julia something along the lines of, Julia, I've been with you since I came into Stardom at the beginning of 2020. Like, you're almost like a sister to me in some aspects, but I think it's time for me to move on from this. And she says that she is going to start her own faction. They do not have a name for the faction yet, but before the match, she came down to the ring with a top prospect, apparently, in the name of Ami. I can't remember her last name at the time, but her first name is Ami. She's originally from Act Rest Girls, another woman from Act Rest Girls, and she brought her in, and the way that English commentary described it is almost like she was like a bodyguard / insurance policy just to keep away from any like Dominado Mondo / prominence fuckery that may happen on the outside to interfere with her match with Julia. Mm-hmm. So she comes out, and she said that Ami is going to be in the faction with her. They haven't had a name yet, but that was basically the gist of it. Julia said, like, if you think, you know, it's similar to the same promo that she cut with Tam after Tam balled at her, was like, I did this, I did that. You think you have what it takes to be a leader, or you think you have what it takes to be a white belt champion. It was basically the same question, was like, obviously fucking yes, we already know this. Like, we get what you're trying to do, Jericho. This is like her Jericho thing. But yeah, like, that was the end of it, and Shuri signed off for the night. So,
Moms, at Vanguard, you're more than just a parent. You're the heart of the family. You're the first responder to any need. You can be the hero and the villain, sometimes on the same day, because you know that in the end, your legacy is the values you instill in them. At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner, because the future you're building is bigger than yourself. Discover the value of ownership at Vanguard.com. Fund shareholders own the funds that own Vanguard. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Home, They say it's where the heart is. They also say it's wherever you make it. They don't say it's where you unload your stuff, get tired halfway through unpacking, use some boxes as furniture, realize your oven mitt's in a box that doubles as a nightstand, don't want to buy a new nightstand, and use a towel as an oven mitt instead. But no matter where you call home, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save on renters and car insurance. Easier than grabbing a piping hot pan with a towel that's a bit too thin and trying to quickly get it to the counter. Ooh, hot, 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 hot.
On to night 2. It is the part 2 of the Futures Double Dash. It is Hanan versus Mai. This match was not as good as the first match from Hanan, but it was still a match that's fighting for 3. You probably give it the gentleman's 3, if you will. I thought it was a good match. It's probably the best singles match I've seen from Mai. That didn't involve her just getting destroyed. But ultimately at the end, Hannah ends up putting her away with the backdrop driver.
Yes, 2 of them things.
Yeah, that's right. She gave her 2. Then, next match, another match to just get everybody on the card. It is basically everyone is not in a premiere match, plus a lot of the women from New Blood 1. With the added addition of Choco Pro, you end up having Zuna Mizumori and Mei Saruga. Oh, you're back. Okay, cool. So they did this at intervals. The way they basically did it was like in comes Cosmic Angels first. It's basically, from what I realized, like most of it was 2 people from each faction or from each promotion. So the first 2 people to come in were Mina and Unagi, and then eventually, like, you would get, like, from JTO, you would get Aoi and Makoto, and then you would get, like, Haruka Umasaki, and then you would get also with her Nanami from Diana. Then you would get, like, Queen's Quest, so you would get, like, Miyu Amasaki and Lady C. Then you would get from Stars, you would get Momo Kogo, and I can't remember, but like it was like 15, 20 people in the match, and nobody got eliminated until everybody got in. And once everybody got in, then they started doing their spots, and their spots, in my opinion, were light years beyond what they did last year's at the Budokan Hall Rumble, the All-Star Rumble. So I like this match more. Do I think that like it? Given how long the show went, was it worth it? I don't know. Like, you know, they really value having everybody that was on their card at the time being on the show. So I get it. But it wasn't like a bad match, but you know, I'm kind of indifferent to Rumbles to begin with.
Yeah. I was, looking at my watch like, man, this thing is still going. So I was wanting them to wrap it up. Yeah. I was happy to see Mei Saruga come in. I thought she brought some life towards the end of the match. Yeah. Of course, love seeing the Mina and the Unagi squaring off. I was like, man, what's going on here? Because I didn't realize it was the Rumble at first. Okay. And but yeah, it was a little long, and you know, I can't blame them for wanting to, you know, spotlight everybody and give them a little chance, but just trim it up next time.
Yeah. Also with that, I forgot the Marvelous faction of Maria and Hosen. So yeah. You know, Maria, you know, being a damn terrorist for against Cosmic Angels, stirring up shit. So I believe, if I remember correctly, the Final Four was Aoi, Unagi, Miyu Amasaki, and Mei. The final 2 came down to Miyu Amasaki and Mei Saruga. Ultimately, Mei Saruga ends up throwing out Miyu Amasaki. She is the winner. And I thought to myself, like, she won. I wonder if she's going to get a high-speed title shot or something, because, you know, it would make sense to get, if she's going to win, they give her something. So stay tuned. So to be continued. Next match after that, the loser of the white belt match, Utami, from day one, faces Mirai. They had a match that I really liked. I don't like it as much as the Mirai match with Ida from the night before, but it was a good match nonetheless. ultimately it is basically like, to me, it's Utami handing Mariah her shit. And then by the end, like, Mariah's fighting her from underneath, getting the crowd into her. You know, like, her music has, like, the three claps in it, and, like, she pounds the mat when she comes in. So, like, in big matches, like, against Shuri and against Ida, like, you hear the from the crowd. When Utami was handing Mariah her ass, like, the crowd was getting into it. They were clapping for her to get back and start fighting. She started fighting back. Ultimately, Utami was too much. He ends up putting her to sleep with a sleeper.
This was the get Utami back on the ball match, and it was almost like a reward kind of for what she did for Kamatani the night before. I think we both predicted this one happening at the time. I like the match a lot. I'm into Mariah, and this was I just felt like it was like a senior wrestler kind of. I don't know how new Mariah is to wrestling.
Mariah debuted after. Mariah's like basically. I think she debuted in 2019. So she's more like a Kamatani in age as far as debuting than Utami, who has a year on both of them.
Yeah, so it's like someone is like an ace is wrestling like somebody that has a lot of potential. That's a mid-carder. So
yeah, like in like that's gonna be it. Like in like 2-3 years, like them on top fighting at the top of these cards. That's gonna be them in like 2 years, definitely. So, next match after that, the Generation of Destiny match, Hazuki versus Momo. The day after Momo, takes Hazuki's, tag team titles. They end up starting the match. Momo gets on top and starts belittling Hazuki. She mockingly does her, her foot wash thing and then run off the opposite ropes, come back with the kick. She continues to talk shit and disrespect kicks Hazuki until Hazuki says, "I've had fucking enough." Starts laying into Momo. She then puts her into the ropes, and she gives her basically like time. Like normally what she does, she gives people like 5 kicks. She gave her like 20 or 22. And then she finally, laid into her with a big kick coming back off the ropes. Then they go back and forth, and it's just excellent wrestling. Like, I can't remember all the stuff they did because it was so damn good. But, like, those two were meant to wrestle each other. I'm glad that I saw this match because, like, when Hazuki retired in 2019, I was kind of, like, not upset, but I was kind of like, damn, they didn't do one last Momo Hazuki match on her way out. When she came back, I was like, they can finally wrestle each other again. This whole build up of the last couple months have been like those two for each other in tag matches going at it, and like I'm glad that this had like a storyline behind it and all that kind of stuff, and like this match was great. This isn't going to be the best match they ever have together, but this was another damn great match. I gave this 4 stars. I loved it.
Same. This was, I feel like the best of heel Mo Watanabe. Just so violent, so like just an unpleasant human, but like, I really enjoyed this match. I like this match better than Kyrie and Starlight Kid.
Okay.
And it was like, I just think they have great chemistry. Like, and like you think about like great mid-card matches on big shows, and this stands up with anything, I think.
Yeah. At the end, I didn't say the finish. At the end, Momo ends up putting away Hazuki with a peach sunrise. They're just dynamite together. Let's see what's the next match after that. Oh, also, I also like the booking because like Momo last year didn't have much to do except for being in the final of the Grand Prix. Like she's one of the best. Like she's at worst the 3rd or 4th best wrestler in the promotion still as a worker. Like, so a lot of people were like, what is going to happen with her? How are they going to position her? She left Queen's Quest, and now, like, she's tag champion. They're setting her up to get a title shot at some point with Shuri or whoever else, but like, that's going to be, big when they do it. I think they're still saving it down the line, but like, there's also a big, special title match special non-title match, singles match between her and Utami that they've been building towards that too. So she's already like done more stuff in the last, or since December alone, than she did like from, January to like November of last year. So like, I'm glad they're refocusing effort on her.
And the cool thing about Momo now is when she has that face that Zach talks about when she comes out, like she's bad now, so she can just say it's her gimmick, like that she looks unpleasant. So
oh wow, did he type that in here?
Nah.
Okay. Next match, high speed throughway match between Azumi, Kaguma, and Natsupoi. This is the normal standard high speed match, like that 3.5 star match of just hyper speed and craziness and whatever else. There's too much stuff to say what happened in this match, but ultimately at the end you end up getting Azumi in there with Natsupoi after they get Kaguma out the ring, and Azumi ends up winning with Azumi Sushi. I was surprised that Natsupoi got pinned, but it makes sense. Like, are you really going to go out here and beat like Hazuki and Kaguma twice
back to back?
Yeah. So it makes sense that they did that, and also like they can rebuild Natsupoi up. To when she eventually challenges Azumi again. So or in this reign again. So yeah, really good match. 3.5. But obviously, like that, to expect that they're going to go out here and have, a match of the year contender, like, nah, that's, they did that at one time. I don't know how replicable that is, in real life, but it's still a very good match nonetheless. Next match after that, you get Kairi returning single match versus Starlight Kid. This match had a lot of stuff in it. This had, Kairi versus Kid, and I thought Starlight Kid was excellent in this match. I thought that Kairi, for a returning singles match, even the night before, let everyone know, like, if you had concerns that I was going to come back and just be a quote unquote standard safe WWE wrestler, let me put that aside. Let me let you guys know that like I'm returning to be Stardom Kairi and wrestle like I did when I was a maniac. And she did that. Like, she threw a shoot headbutt at some point in this match. At one point, she's throwing a spinning back fist. She's trading at a point where trading slaps. I believe like Starlight Kid busted her eardrum. I think she has a busted eardrum. There's one point where she bleeding from her ear. Like, there was a lot of stuff in this match, but it was just very well done, very good storytelling in between that, where Kid, and this is classic Kairi storytelling, is like, normally is either at one point, this is an and or, either she is going to work over somebody's back so they're immobilized, Kairi, and then their opponent is going to work over her right elbow so that she can't throw the elbow drop. That is classic Kairi big match wrestling in Stardom. You can look at any of those Mayu and Kairi matches, and like, it's exactly that. It's like working over Kairi working over a back to try to get the anchor done, like that. Almost like a. The anchor is,
it's like a sharpshooter, but without the leg
between it. Right. The anchor, and then her opponent is trying to tear out her elbow, and there's always near falls around all that. Just a classic storyteller. Just great. So, that has all that in that match. Ultimately, at the end, Kairi ends up hitting Kid with the fucking headbutt to a mask, and then later on finishes her off with the elbow like she was supposed to. After the match, Kairi wants a handshake. Kid defiant because she's a heel, she's evil. She doesn't want to. She does not
respect the code of honor.
Yeah, yes, doesn't respect the code of honor. Kairi says, "Fuck that evil shit. I'm hugging you anyway." Grabbed her by the arm, pulled her in, and hugged her. And the Kid tried to push her away, and then slinked off into the night. To be evil. To make someone else pay for it. Probably beat up a civilian out on the street later. I don't know.
Yeah, rob somebody.
Yes. Why is 4'11" woman with a mask beating me up? This vandal.
Exactly.
So yeah, I thought it was a great match. But like you said, like it's in that 3 3/4 range, 4 stars, whatever, however you feel about it. But yeah, it was either way, it was a fun ass match and it felt, even for 18 minutes, I thought that like they didn't overstay its welcome. I thought it was perfectly laid out. Next match, the Quattros match between Donald Mondo and Prominence. So it was a loser of the red belt match, Julia with Micah, Himeka, and Tekla versus the top 4 of Prominence, Risa Sera, Suzu Suzuki, Akane Fujita, and Muchi Miyagi. Now, I had never seen Muchi Miyagi wrestle before. I had seen the other 3, obviously, before. And the way they built this match was, I don't know if this has ramifications for what happened with, the January pay-per-view when, like, Tam at 11th hour, like, basically got put in COVID jail, and then they had to do that draw, and then they basically designated that Julia and Mayu were going to be the 2 people.
Yeah.
Because, like, the way they did this match, Julia building up this match built it as if, like, she wanted Suzu in a singles match, and she wasn't interested in this match, but she wanted a singles match. So the match starts, all 4 of them brawl out the ring except for Suzu and Julia. So it's basically like, for most of this match, it is effectively a singles match between Julia and Suzu. The problem is, if you're going to try to build towards wanting a singles match with Suzu, and you're Julia, you're a bigger star than her, and the story is, you left her for dead to go to the better promotion as the old promotion crumbled, and they forcing them to ultimately leave, and then y'all get into the ring, and then, like, you want to use this match to promote an eventual singles match. You don't beat the ever-loving piss out of Suzu the way she did. Like, in my opinion, like, if this were Noah, and this was Fujita that behaved this way, people would be fucking killing Fujita. She no-sold her shit. She treated her as almost like she was Unagi last year. I'm dead serious. She just no-sold all of her shit for the whole time. Every time she threw a slap, she no-sold it. She beat the shit out of her. After she beats her at the end of the match, she no-sells the defiant slaps or whatever else too. She just, like, completely big-leagued her. And I was like, whoa, I guess we're never getting a singles match, right? Like, if this was just to get Julia her heat back, then it's like, all right, she got her heat back. But if they're going to do another match, it's like, why do I want to see another match? She clearly beat the shit out of Suzu, the whole up and down.
Suzu already was crying the last time she's seen her, so it's like,
she cried it into this too,
man.
She cried it into saying, like, I'm going to get a singles match with you, and I was like, you don't want that. You don't want no problems, big fella. You don't want no problems. She just whooped your ass. Imagine if she just had only to worry about you as opposed to, like, 3 other people coming into the match. But yeah, like, it was more Micah, but around that in the periphery, there was more Micah in Risa. There was more Tekla in Akane Fujita, which is old country beef, named back to Ice Ribbon. And then, Muchi, well, to be fair, they didn't pin Suzu, but, like, they put in their number 4, and then, obviously, Julia beat their number 4, and then, but, like, when it was Suzu and Julia, the match that they're trying to promote, she's big leaguing her. I was like, okay. Alright. I don't know what to do with that, but, it was still a good match nonetheless. I ended up giving it, 3.5 stars. So, then you end up getting to the white belt and red belt matches. White belt match, Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano. This is basically the match they did at Sumo Hall in December, except they added stuff to it and ended up being even better than the 4.5 star match they already had. They start this match out with some wrestling. They started out the wrestling match with some wrestling. They started basically by trading a Greco-Roman knuckle-light to try to get each other into certain positions. Ultimately, it ends up with them, like, doing, like, acrobatic, like, monkey flippery. End up doing the double bridge to avoid the double 3-count pin. Ultimately, Tam ends up winning the exchange. It ends up, like, working over Kamatani's neck with, like, this neck crank deal with, like, she wraps her legs around Kamatani's neck with, like, a head and arm choke with her feet, and then like uses Kamatani's leg as an anchor for leverage. So I thought that was neat. Kamatani fights back. She ends up working over Tam's back with drop kicks into the back, big drop kicks to the back, keeps slams to the back, and Tam selling like death. And then they go back and forth. Ultimately, we get to the big moment where like Tam, after having her back worked over, gets Kamatani in a dragon sleeper on the top rope and yanks her so far over that Kamatani goes over the top rope. She goes to try to dive. Kamatani gets back up, meets her at the top rope. She wants a slap exchange, and then Kamatani goes up to Tam, who's seated on the top rope still, and gives her a fucking hurricanrana off the top rope to the floor.
Yes, I popped.
I shouted in horror. And Tam lands at a high angle, so like, I don't know if she landed on the back of her head. I don't know if she landed on her neck. I don't know what happened. All I know is that shit like she died. She sold like she died. The crowd gasped in horror. The American, and I watched this match twice. I watched the American feed. I watched the Japanese feed. Both commentary teams like erupt in horror. They get back in the ring. Kamatani rolls Tam back into the ring. Tam is like, I can't wrestle. I'm done. She rolls to the other side of the ring and rolls out. Kamatani says, oh, you want to play it like that? All right. Like, I just, I worked over your back. I just hit you with a fucking top rope Rana. You landed on your back. All right. I got something for you. Since you want to lock the ring, I'm going to give you this fucking Star Crusher, this fisherman fucking arrow on the fucking floor outside. No mats. Tam was like, oh, you want to kill me? She escapes, hits her with a running knee, then throws Kamatani up the aisleway into one of those tunnels in Sumo Hall, goes to the top. She may as well have done the Jeff Hardy deal. She dives off the top of the fucking balcony. And then they end up both beating the 20 count. They get back in the ring.
Tam Hardy.
Yeah. Ism. They go back and forth. More Kamatani with big moves like drop kicking and strikes, working over Tam's back. There's a springboard, double foot stomp on the Tam's back. There is the Star Crusher that works over Tam's back some more. Kamatani goes up and goes for the Phoenix splash. Tam moves out the way by the grace of God with a broken back. Basically, she gets back to her feet and hits a running knee, the bicycle knee to the back of Kamatani's head. She ends up slapping on that same head and arm leg crank deal that she was doing at the beginning of the match. Kamatani makes the ropes. Tam gets her up and goes for the the violet screwdriver. Can't get her up because of her back. Fires up, gets her all the way up, hits her. Kamatani kicks. She gets her up and goes for the Twilight Dream. Kamatani escapes, ends up getting Tam into a European clutch pin, like saber. She kicks out. Then Tam comes running at her. Kamatani gets behind her, goes up for that schoolboy driver that she started doing against Tam and back at Dream Queendom. Tam escapes it by turning it into a crossbody, and then Kamatani basically reverses into a pin and gets Tam out of there with the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I didn't like the finish. I was like, huh? Like, because they were doing lots of big moves to each other at a certain point, and then it was like, it felt flat for me at the end. But I liked the match overall. I just wish the finish was more definitive. But maybe they're protecting Tam for something.
Yeah, I think that either this was not the plan for Tam to be in this match, and she was going to be in the red belt match instead. Like one of those red belt matches instead to Shuri. And then they realized like, oh shit, like Tam with the COVID thing, like, what do we do? He's like, well, just have her face Kamatani again. Cause they rarely ever have like the person that took the belt off, the champion face person they beat for the belt, in the same ring. They rarely do that. But I thought this match was fucking awesome. I consider giving this 4 3/4. I ended up staying at 4.5. Tam is out of her fucking mind. This match basically is, with Phoenix Splash and all that shit, and Kamatani always wanted to be Kota Ibushi so much. Like, this was basically like their love letter to like Golden Lovers. This basically was their, like, this was like a DDT Golden Lovers match where it's like, what was the crazy shit that in Shakira first ring that Kenny Omega did? He's like, I'll never do it again. He did some crazy bump to the floor off the top rope.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was like a top rope hurricanrana to the floor, if I'm not mistaken.
So this same exact fucking spot, right? Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, she's out of her mind.
But like literally on the top rope.
Yeah. Like one of those Dragon Rana deals. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, or not a Dragon Rana. You gotta. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, this match was. They're out of their fucking minds. Like, Tam, like, did everything for this woman. Like, gave her whole body, gave her fucking life. Like, she could have fucking died on that spot. Yeah, like, just amazing. Like, Kamatani, the kind of, like, what she's on for me right now, like, she has now given me, just from Dream Queendom to now, the match with, that match with the title belt change with Tam, the match from last pay-per-view, or from last month's pay-per-view with Natsupoi, and then this match, she has given me 3 of my favorite 5 Kamatani matches. And just like, basically in like 4 months stretch. She's killing it. She's doing great. Like, she's doing great right now. And man, like, I said a little thing about earlier when we were talking about the Julia and Tam thing. I got to say something to y'all for Tam. Like, this woman is one of them ones. Like, like, I almost went on the Tam rant back when I found out that she finished top 10 in Most Outstanding Observer Awards. Every single year she has gotten better since I've watched her in 2019. At first I was like, damn, she's really good. Who is this girl? And then it was like, I got to the Grand Prix 2019. I was like, damn, like, she just had like 3 and 3.4, 4 something star average and whatever. I was like, this woman's really fucking good. Then the next year is like, she's at 3.6. Last year I had her at like 3.7 something. Like, she consistently gets better year after year after year. This is going to be one of the 50 best matches when we get to the end of next year. Look at like the, Voice of Wrestling thing. Is going to end up in the top 50, top 40 range. Like, this is what she does. Like, this is what she does. Like, I don't know how much longer this shit gonna go, but like, however long this gonna go, by the time this shit is done, I'm gonna say she's one of the ones. Like, when you go back and you look at Stardom's history, like 2019, like, all right, yeah, you're a bigger star than Hoshiki, but we won't go with Hoshiki right now. No problem, boss. Go out there, give Hoshiki a shot in the arm in her first defense, have Hoshiki's best match. Then it's like, all right, like, this shit has been a disaster. Like, Hoshiki has to retire before putting anybody over. Like, Hannah's no longer with us. What are we gonna do? All right, we're gonna get Tam, we're gonna get Julia, and we're gonna have a feud of the year contender worldwide, and we're gonna get Julia all the way to the fuck over. Okay, no problem. And at the end, we'll give you the belt, Tam. Okay, no problem. Then it turns into, all right, after you became a champion, there's really no division. So what we gonna do? All right, we're gonna put all these people that fit the aesthetic of what we want to be white belt champions in the future, and we'll put them in there, and you kind of gotta, get them their first defenses or whatever else. Like, we're not gonna give you any top stars to be like we gave everybody else except for you. No problem, boss. I'll do that. I'll get Starlight Kid in here. I'll get Mina in here. I'll get Unagi in here. I'll get Kamatani on the board. I'll get Natsupoi on the board. No problem. All of them have some of the best matches of their career to that point, and even still now to this day. Then it's like, all right, all right, one more task for you, Tam. What you gonna do? All right, that girl you brought in, Kamatani. We think she's a star. I do too. I love her. I'm gonna put her over as much as I can. Dream Queendom. Wrestle Kingdom, this. She's one of the most unselfish wrestlers I've ever seen. She's fucking awesome. Like, she'll give her body to this shit. She don't care. She took a fucking top rope right onto the floor. Who the fuck? She's out of her mind. Just to put over somebody. She's great.
Awesome.
So next match, the main event, Shuri versus Mayu. Red belt match. This match starts with some chain wrestling in classic Shuri style. Shuri basically dominates the start like usual. She ends up working over Mayu's leg. And then throughout this match, basically at different points, like Shuri just systematically just shuts down Mayu, ends up lining up her leg with multiple different leg submissions. Mayu mounts her comeback, crucifix bomb, hits her with all the stuff, hits her with the kitchen sink. Shuri will not fold. Ultimately, at the end, with like a minute and a half left in the match, Shuri ends up slapping on that stretch muffler that she debuted at the Budokan Hall show a year ago in March. That arm trap stretch muffler. After she had basically been wearing down Mayu's legs over and over throughout that match, Mayu is in the middle of the ring. She can't get to the rope. She's nowhere close. She's dead to rights. The only thing she can hope to do is hold on for a whole another minute. I honestly thought that they were doing like a Iron Man finish, like Brett, Shawn, like Omega in Pac. She's dead to rights. She's screaming her head off. She can't make the ropes, but she's gonna hold on. The ref calls for a ref stoppage and awards the match to Shuri. I thought it was a cool finish to get out of it, or not to get out of it, but it's like Shuri beat her ass systematically. There's nothing that Mayu can do. She wasn't gonna make the ropes. The only thing she was doing was hold on, and by that point in time, what's she gonna do? Rip up her knee in theory, or in storyline? Ref stopped it out of her own good and awarded the match to Shuri. I thought it was a great match. I ended up giving 4.5.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought I was expecting a match of the year contender. Right. I don't think we quite got that.
No, we didn't.
I thought Mayu was very flashy in the early stages, and then all of a sudden, like, you realize you in there with that bear, and eventually she's just gonna whoop your ass and tie you up. And I didn't expect that ending at all.
Do you think? Okay, so this is what I thought was going to happen. I thought that she was going to hold on. They were going to restart the match, and they were going to do Utami Shuri, like the Utami Shuri first match, from into a finish, and then Shuri was going to eventually beat her. That's what I thought was going to happen. But stopped it right there. I still thought it was a great match. So yeah, I have no problem. I love the match, love the show, love the weekend. I thought this was just excellent wrestling up and down both of these cards, for the most part, aside from like the, if you will, charity matches, if you will. Like outside of that, they was out here, kicking all kinds of ass, on up and down these shows. I thought this was a great weekend for Stardom.
Yeah, sold a lot of tickets, and it seems like, do you feel like there are more people kind of joining in on these monthly pay-per-views, like, that are joining the conversation with this stuff?
Yes. Like, I mean, one thing that really helped them out a lot was like the anniversary show match with Julia and Mayu, when they basically had to, make up for Tam just not being able to match, and they had that match. People loved that match. And then like last month, like the Starlight Kid and Azumi match, like that brought a tons of attention to them as well. So like, yeah, this, like, both of those, like, in a way, was like a year ago, 2 years ago, like a match like that, those matches would have broke through in that way. We're like, if they have a match now in Stardom that's like, over like one of those, like, 4 3/4 type deals, whatever else, like, it's going to get a lot of attention. People are going to say, hey, go check this out. Like, so yeah, like, we'll see that bear it out when we see, like, cage match and Voice of Wrestling, that kind of stuff, later on. But like, cause only night one's up right now in Stardom World, but like, it'll be coming in. And I already saw like some of the voting for night one. And it's like, it's going to be one of the most voted and looked at matches and rated matches on Cage Match for Stardom. So they're trending up. Like, when people hear about this stuff, they pay more attention now in the wrestling sphere, if you will. So that's good from a national perspective. So I will say this: night one, English commentary, they had Stuart Fulton, who normally does it, with Sonny. Sonny, who runs the English accounts for Stardom, does the editing for the shows, puts up the translations and all that kind of stuff. I thought that it was okay. They don't call the match as much as I like the action in the ring as much. They more like give you exposition. But it's still good. Like, and then night two, for some reason, Sonny wasn't on it, and they had Mai again, and not Mai, but Waka. And they had Waka on for, I believe, Dream Queendom, and like, her English isn't good enough to be doing that, but they put her out there, and she tries, but it's like, that's not what she's meant to be doing. But but she's being a good company woman. So like, I hope that no one gives her much shit for that. But it is what it is, what they do with it. I don't know why Sonny wasn't on both nights. I have no idea. But, if you are somebody that needs English, commentary, I understand it. But like, if you're a person that is used to, Japanese commentary, or whatever else, I would suggest watching Japanese commentary.
Yeah. I watched the show with Japanese commentary, and it's like, just the excitement. You can feel it through it. It translates. You might miss a couple things, but wrestling is wrestling at the end of the day.
Like, you might get, context clues, and you figure out the gist of what people are trying to say if you know the storylines. And then, like, what is it? I want to give a shout out to a few of the people out there. Like, there's Karen Peterson, who does post wrestling reviews for Stardom. She does translations. If you want to go to Twitter, there is Shigeo on Twitter that will give you translations of promos and post-match stuff. And then also, there is, let me pull it up right now. I have it in my bookmarks.
Gotta keep that close.
Yeah. There is, Shine Today, Believe Tomorrow, .home.blog. I forgot. I think the person that runs it is, I think her name's Dana. She does translations for the press conferences, for pay-per-views, for the, post-match stuff, and for the promos after matches for the pay-per-view. So, like, there are resources around, like, like, if you are a person that's trying to figure out this stuff, there's places to look on Twitter to try to find it. So, if you're interested or whatever else, just DM me and I'll send you those links that I mentioned or whatever else. Obviously, audio medium, be like, well, how the hell do you spell Shigeo? So I'm not about to pull it up and try to figure it out right now. It is what it is. But if you just DM me and I'll send you towards in those directions. So after that, now that we're past, the biggest show of everdom for this section of the year, we are now on to Cinderella season. So Cinderella Tournament, the biggest field ever. It was originally going to be 30 wrestlers, has been moved to 31 to accommodate Ami being added. So it's 31 person tournament. Originally, it was going to be Shuri and Kamatani getting first round buys. But the way they set it up is at a press conference for the Cinderella Tournament, they had Ami ask Shuri for a match against her in the opener. She obliged. So Shuri, no days off. she's going to be in the first round, and the only person with a bye is Kamatani. So just looking through this card, if I can pull it up, I just had it. Yeah, there we go. The first match that stand out to me are Natsupoi versus Starlight Kid, Azumi versus Momo, Tam versus Utami, and Julia versus Tekla.
Momo and Azumi also.
I didn't mention that? Oh, my bad.
No.
Yeah, Momo and Azumi. So, yeah, those are the four matches that immediately stick out to me. Momo and Azumi in the first round, Julia and Tekla in the first round.
And if you're like me, Fugukin Death versus Koguma.
Yes, there's also a match of super talented women, but yes. So, they do have a match order out. I have not looked at the match order for the card, but it is what it is. We'll just go through this. So, is there anybody that you looked at their path and say, that looks interesting?
Now, I'm looking through the bracket right now. Okay. I'm looking at my usual suspects. I always kind of had Starlight Kid circled for this, so I'm trying to find Starlight here. Looks like she's going to be taking on Natsupoi in the first round, so that's a good person to face, I think, for her early on. So if she beats her, then she could possibly face off with Unagi or Rina in the second round. I could see her beating either one of them.
Yep.
So we've got Micah and Hannon. I think they'll probably put Micah over.
Right.
I think Micah will lose to. Actually, she may beat Sai Kamatani.
I think, given how the rivalry goes and like how Kamatani's had the upper hand of late, I think that this will make a lot of sense for Micah to throw her out and then get herself or even beat her and get herself a white belt title shot. She's never had a white belt title match or title challenge. And
I think Starlight Kid can beat Micah from there. So,
she'll throw over the top rope. She won't.
Yeah.
So this year, it is not 10-minute time limit. It is 15 minutes. But a bunch of people still going to throw it over the top rope to protect each other. You know how that goes.
Right. So, in the next quadrant, it looks like there's Mayu and Utami and Tam that are kind of the three big names in there.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to knock out Utami and Tam, one of them in the first round. Tam just was involved in the white belt, so Utami could lose too. They could do that double. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. Double elimination with those two.
Because there's going to be, how the Cinderella Tournament goes, there's always double eliminations.
Yeah.
Whether it was 2020 where it was Mayu and that whole last few matches. It was Micah and Utami went to a time limit draw. Then the main event was Hannah and not Hannah, but Hannah and Mayu. They throw each other over the top rope, and basically Hannah gave Mayu a fucking package power driver off the top rope.
Yep.
So yeah,
I think Mayu moves on until she runs into Saki Kashima, and Saki ends up eliminating Mayu.
Oh yeah, that happens all the I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is, but Saki has Mayu's numbers in tournaments. She ends a catcher with that crucifix pin and pins her.
I think Mariah is going to go through and end up beating Saki at the end of this, and then we're looking at Mariah versus Starlight Kid. I don't know which way it'll go on that though.
Okay.
So looking at the next quadrant, I see Lady C and Mai Sakurai, Saida and Rina, Kaguma and Fukigen Death, Julia and Tekla, Julia over Tekla, Kaguma over Fukigen Death, Saida, and then I don't think you want to put Lady C and Saya together until you. I don't know. I guess you put her and Lady C together, and then I'll go Julia, and then I'll go Lady C, and then Julia straight through. And then after that, I would look at Azumi and Momo in that bottom quadrant. I will pick Shuri to beat her protege or whoever that is.
Ami, yeah.
Yep. And then Himeka will do what Micah does to Saya. She'll throw her out, and Himeka will set up her title match with Shuri.
She's been asking for. She's been begging for months.
Yep. I think Azumi loses to Momo.
Hey, real quick, is this here damn booking where it's y'all been begging for title matches? Here, all y'all fans of these hives, here's your little match. You can go out there and get beat on a B or C pay-per-view.
I saw people crying on Twitter about Nanai Takahashi coming in and then talking about Himeka, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Because Shuri was saying she wants to defend the belt against Nanai Takahashi, and I'm like, sign me up, please. May I have some more? You know, but there will be matches for everyone. Calm down.
Yeah.
Bring it back down.
Yeah, the thing for me was like, all right, right now, red belt. Who, given that, right now it could be, they just fed the top 4 to build into a top 6 right now. So none of them could be, red belt challengers right now. So if you're not going to do that, the only 3 people that really make any sense right now for like a almost immediate red belt title match would be like Momo, Micah, and Himeka. So once you blow through those 3, then what?
Right.
Like, so, yeah, like Risa Sarah, Takumi, Nanai, people that like all have reasons to have red belt matches with Shuri, sign me up. Especially because it's like, those 3 are all better than Himeka. No disrespect to Himeka. I like Himeka. Like, let her get a run. Let her get, I think she makes more sense for the white belt than the red belt, but whatever. Like, sure. But it's like, don't just be out here and be like, nah, you need to get out here. Like, do we not want, like, Shuri to have, like, match of year contenders or not? Like, Himeka's good, but she ain't that damn good.
So we got Azumi and Momo. I'm torn on this one. Momo is just coming off a big win. I will go with Azumi just because, fuck it. I already know what I'm doing with this tournament. Starlight Kid versus Azumi in the finals. Let's fucking do it. The future is now. Okay, so I haven't looked that far out to see what it's gonna look like, but yeah, I'm with you for the most part. Like Mike is gonna throw out Kamatani. The agenda.
Push the agenda. Yeah, so I got Kamatani over. I got Micah throwing out Kamatani eventually. So Han and Sorry, you can dump in your head with a Michinoku driver. Starlight Kid and Natsupoi. I'm going with Starlight Kid. Throwing Natsupoi over the top to protect Natsupoi. I got Unagi over Rina. I got Mayu over Kogo easily. I got Saki over Waka easily. She's gonna get kill switched. Mina and Mirai. I could see Mina pulling off an upset by throwing her over the top rope, but I think if she doesn't, then Mirai is going to win. Utami Utami Nakano versus Tam Nakano. That shit. Y'all that did not see this or not, or whatever else. There's been this running gag backstage started back in November where Utami was singing Tam's theme song with like Azumi and Kamatani, and she does the Tam song, and then she like does the mannerisms that Tam does. She's on the rope when she does the thing and her head tilt, and Azumi's fucking in stitches. So, that's been a running gag, and like Tam saw it and added Utami on Twitter and was like, do you want to do this? Do you actually want to do the Utami Nakano thing? Like, and they were been joking about it, but it was a backstage thing. So, then they put them in the match together for Cinderella Tournament, and Utami shows up to the press conference, and all she does is Tam's mannerisms the whole time, and she calls herself, I think she says, I'm representative for Utami Hayashishita today. I am Utami Nakano. I haven't read the transcripts. Basically, like, she does all the Tamism stuff, and like, it's fucking hilarious. And Tam's sitting there, and she's like, at points, like, she's trying to laugh, and at other points, she's being fake annoyed. So then, at the press conference at the end, they do the photo shoot with everybody there, and they end up putting Utami Nakano next to Julia, just like some costume battle royal level kayfabery, where like Julia's not fucking with and is mad and making a face at Utami, and Utami's doing like the Tam, all this rich doing all this and all the cutesy shit, and like Julia's no selling it, and then she does with her hand, she takes one hand off and does like the Tam spelling thing, and you see fucking Julia corpse. This was great. But
Who can pop Julia?
Yes. Yeah, because it's the same thing with like the real
Julia Undertaker out
thing. Here. Yes, exactly what it is. So
that was a funny thing. Mayu got on the mic at some point and she yelled real like during the event.
Yes, she did. I forgot about that. So yeah, like I think, you know, they're going to go to a time limit draw. They're going to both double eliminate each other. So like Mina or Mariah will just slide right through. In the second half of the bracket, I got Lady Silver over Mai. I got Ida over Rina. I got, I think Death beats Kaguma. I got Julia over Tekla. I'll say that Azumi ends up winning over Momo. Probably ends up either sneaking her with the Azumi Sushi or throws her over the top rope. I got Azuki over Miyu. I got Himeka over Roaka, and I got Shuri over Ami. So from there, like I'll probably say that like I imagine Starlight Kid will end up beating Unagi. I like you said, I'll call the same thing. Saki ends up eliminating Mayu. So it'll end up being like Saki versus Mina or Mirai, and I think Mina Mirai ends up getting to the final four. So then it'll be Starlight Kid versus Mina or Mirai. I'll probably say Mina ends up winning by throwing over top rope because she's crazy right now. So I'll go Mina in Starlight Kid, with Starlight Kid end up beating Mina. In the bottom half, I have Ida beating C. I'll have either high speeder, whether it's Kaguma or Death, is beating Julia with a high speed flash pin to get her out of there. Like Julia, when she does jobs, often she's getting snuck. And she hasn't. And like, believe it, some people like describe it as she doesn't do jobs. It's bullshit. She gets pinned way more often than you think. She gets pinned a whole hell of a lot more than Shuri ever does. Like I was going through Shuri's pins last week, and it was like, nah, man, this woman outside of she has now like been pinned like 6 times in Stardom. She's gotten them back, all 6 of them. It might be 7, but like all of them, she's gotten them back now that she beat Julie in Mayu. But anyway, so yeah, Azumi and Hazuki. I think Hazuki ends up getting the win. On that one. Himeka versus Hazuki. I can see Hazuki end up sneaking Himeka. And then you end up with Hazuki versus one of the speedsters. And I have Hazuki going through. And I'm going to basically do Starlight Kid versus Hazuki, where Starlight Kid ends up getting the win.
That works. Yeah. Starlight Kid and Hazuki. So, man, like One Nation Radio says it, take it to the bank. Starlight Kid, get the dress ready. Get the black dress ready.
Well, no, we got different. Okay, so you have Azumi, I have Hazuki.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically, same thing, Starlight Kid. Yep, same thing, Starlight Kid gets the win.
Look, get the black and purple dress ready. Matching mask.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, y'all. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nah.
Okay.
Enjoy WrestleMania weekend, and everybody that's going to Dallas,
be safe.
Proper precautions and
be safe.
Be safe, and if y'all out there in the streets, how these wrestling events go. Yeah, be safe as well. But yeah, man. Besides that, yeah, hit them with 2 big shows this week, and man, yeah. So like, we'll be back next week, I guess, and check the new music video. Holla.
Yeah, you got to send me the link, so I put it in the description. So yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. If you're on the stream, hit us up with the bits.
One more thing. I did a appearance on Joey O'Doherty's Mox podcast, and we talked about Dean Ambrose's like last 9 months or so in WWE. So like it kind of coincides when we were hosting the LOP show. So I have a firm memory of the collapse of like WWE creative as well as like
you had to write notes for those shows.
Yeah. So like I remember like looking at how aimless Moxley was at certain points and the weird stuff they did with him, and it was It was so weird. So check that out.
Some of those shows in 2018 were all time bad. I specifically remember the one in Milwaukee where you end up having Ambrose doing the shots, the immunizations promo. You end up having like the end of that or that whole entire show where like basically Corbin Goon with Lashley and McIntyre just beat the shit out of every single babyface in sight. Mm-hmm. The ratings plummeted, and then like a couple weeks later, like you got Seth Rollins blaming Baron Corbin, saying he sucks. You got prompted like the McMahon family come out and say, you know, you are the authority now, which I'm still waiting for that authority because boy. But yeah, you're right. Like
they had the Elite come in. They did not.
Well, turns out they didn't. Yeah. So, and even then, like even if you had the Elite, y'all still fucking terribly inept bookers. Like it ain't. And it is not about the talent. It's about y'all. Look in the mirror. Look inward.
Think bigger.
So anyway, thanks for listening, y'all. That's it of the show. Be sure to rate whatever app you're using to listen to this. Like I said earlier, if you're on the stream, hit us up with the bits. If you are listening on the podcast, go to our Red Circle and drop us off with a donation. Be sure to listen to other shows on the network. Besides One Nation Radio, we have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, Grown Men Watch This Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, and AEW Match Guide. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
City is the #1 movie in America.
Oh, yeah!
That's pretty impressive.
Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum are a comedy dream team.
Holy mother of God! Why are you praying?
It's the most fun time in a theater this year.
Yes!
The Lost City, now playing. Rated PG-13.
Home. They say it's where the heart is. They also say it's wherever you make it. They don't say it's where you unload your stuff, get tired halfway through unpacking, use some boxes as furniture, realize your oven mitt's in a box that doubles as a nightstand, don't want to buy a new nightstand, and use a towel as an oven mitt instead. But no matter where you call home, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save on renters and car insurance. Easier than grabbing a piping hot pan with a towel that's a bit too thin and trying to quickly get it to the counter. Ooh, hot, 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 hot.